Welcome, everybody. Feel free to put where you are from in the chat.
Someone's got a foreign language going on.
Welcome. Hi, Jennifer. Nice to see you again. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Nice to see Marv again.
Hello, hello, gang.
Oh.
Who is the host here?
Should be you.
For me.
It said the host was going to let me in, and I do not seem to have all of my controls here.
There is a Jay Facette that is the host.
Okay, well, then there's another Jay Fazette, me and my multiple personalities.
Does
that mean you're out of control, Jay?
Yeah. It's the Jay Facette that looks a heck of a lot like Krista, I think.
Okay, Krista, I need you to.
There he is. I can see him. I see Jay Facette in the corner.
How's it going? Good to hear you.
Joseph coming in. Hi, Juliet. And welcome to everyone who's new to JVology. Glad that you're here. Feel free to say hello. You can put where you are from or where you happen to be at the moment in the chat.
And Krista, I still can't share screen there. If you could help me out there somehow, some way. I think you are. Well, it shows that you are the host, so I hope that is. So it's recorded inside.
See what I can do here. Where's the real Jay Facette? Make host. All right, it's all yours, sir.
I was going to say, let's confuse Krista and we can all rename ourselves really quick, Jay Facette.
Well, I'll tell you what, me and your voices in my head would be much louder.
For those of you who don't know me, there you go.
All right, gang, we're just going to give people a moment's grace of getting moving and shaking here, and then we are going to dive on in and have a little bit of fun tonight.
Hi, Bill P-Boy. How are you tonight?
Well, staying out of trouble, just doing the deep dive into the rabbit hole of crypto and NFTs. So,
I'm going to say, if you're trying to stay out of trouble, you're probably in the wrong spot because, you know, we're nothing but trouble around here.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, actually, the stuff I've learned just in the last 48 hours have completely blown my mind. And yeah, we're doing some pivots over here. So exciting things happening. I'm going to need a nice calming retreat with some dolphins or whales. And once I get over this rush here.
I think I know how to help you with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I recommend everybody come.
180.
Yeah.
You've come to the right place, that's for sure. Well, there's always a lot of information out there. It's I'm curious to hear what you've learned in 48 hours because it can be overwhelming. At least that's what I found. But I know Jay has.
Sí. Es que está todo café, entonces no se
Victoria.
Está todo pegado a la izquierda, la entrada peatonal.
Victoria. Let me mute you.
Somebody's got to speak Spanish.
I was just going to say, Victoria's supposed to be manning the mute, but it's actually her that's supposed to be muted.
Hola.
Victoria.
Muy bien.
Right.
I think I made you host now. I can't do anything at all, Jay. I'm trying to help you out.
Oh, you didn't make me co-host. Okay, I'm supposed to be doing
Sorry.
All right, I thought you had that. So there's 18 people in the waiting room. I'm just going to admit all that. And then we have to get back.
If you make me co-host again, I'll keep an eye on things.
Yes, I am working on it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to mute all. All muted. There we go. All right, Krista, I'm just going to make you host as people are just getting put in here. They're jumping around like mad.
You mean co-host, right?
That is exactly what I mean. Thank you. Now, what's fascinating, there we go. Gang, if you can just bear with us while we're getting people set up here. There we go. And you are a co-host, and that, I believe Krista allows you to make Victoria co-host as well for her to jump in and handle that, or should I do that as well?
I've got it.
Okay, thank you, thank
Or
you.
if you want, Jay, you can make me co-host as well.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Fine.
you do
We
have to
are
do it, Jay.
underway. All right, first and foremost, let me make sure we are recording, because I've had about 30 people ask me that in the last, seems like.
Also, please remember to do the live over Facebook.
No, I'm not going to do live over Facebook actually for this. We're going to keep that. If they aren't here, too bad, so sad. There's a kind of a smaller invitation that is going to transpire. Okay. So on that note, we still have people in the waiting room. Okay, while we're getting moving and shaking here, gang, and I just realized that in all that moving around, good Lord. The record button, pause recording, we are working, awesome. Okay, so ready or not, gang, we are going to get started. And I see an inordinate number of familiar faces. Hello, Anne. Hello, Amanda. Hello, Brad. Hello, Bill. Goodness gracious, we got a whole crew of people here. So do me a favor, and I'm going to close that part so I can't see it, so I can see your heads better, because your heads are over there. Do me a favor, if you are going to be here and hanging out today and those sorts of things, turn your camera on. It's one of those things that this is intended to be a conversation more than perhaps anything else under the sun. And what we really do like to do is see these things called human beings and be able to have these conversations back and forth. Now, if you're driving or something like that and you happen to be, I can totally understand that. All well and fine. But for the most part, here's how this goes. You are at a JVology event. For those of you who do not know, my name is Jay Fizzette. I am the founder of JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit. We are a community of entrepreneurs that fundamentally use our relationship abilities to build relationships with people who are our joint venture partners. And our joint venture partners help us serve our clients better, help us have more fun, help us make more money, help us enjoy the process of entrepreneurship a whole hell of a lot better. To give you a little bit of background on that, JVology was, the inception of it was 2017. We've been doing trainings. Goodness gracious, since then we have a membership community called the Global Lounge that has 400 people in it, plus or minus. We get together and share joint venture opportunities and deals. And in the last little while, there has been an incredible amount of interest, conversation, and requests in the cryptocurrency domain. So here's what I want to know. And by the way, gang, this is one of those things where we say it's not just like a one-way conversation. I need to hear some things from you so I know what's going on. How many of you here are currently engaged in the cryptocurrency space, meaning that you hold something, even if you don't know where, for, why, to, how to? Put it in the chat if you would. Just say that you hold something in the cryptocurrency space. If you hold something in the NFT space, put down crypto and NFT. If you don't hold anything yet, or you, like my dear friend Brian, he and I were talking at great length today, I bought it, it went up a little bit, and I sold it, and I'm kicking myself in the ass for selling it. If you're in that space, you can put, I did hold, give me a bit of an idea. So yes, no to NFT, crypto, blockchain, holding, okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Nothing yet. Well, I don't know, Brad. I think that your partner in crime bought some and put it in your name, just in case things went bad. It was Brad who invested. It was Brad who bought it. Brad talked me into it. That is how I heard that, right, Michelle? And just on a serious note, Brad, Michelle, and Corey and I have had more than a couple of glasses of wine on the balcony talking about this, and Brad has just shook his head a whole bunch. It is all recorded on the blockchain. Yeah, well, it's Brad's blockchain, just to be clear. That's how we deal. That's how we think about that. So none. Okay, so we've got a whole range of folks here, which is fantastic. Yes, crypto NFTs, and Rob, you've been very busy.
Your mic went,
Jay, you just muted yourself. Somehow it says Jay's muted, so there you go.
That may have been one of my co-hosts.
It was me because everybody's coming in so fast and then it jumped and right behind that was Jay's mic. So.
Okay. Well, that moment that I was just speaking was your primary takeaway for the evening. I'm glad you were all here. That was totally fantastic. And moving on. So no, on a serious, nobody heard you lavishing praise on me, Jay, Rob says. All I was saying is that email you sent is sitting open on my desk and scheduled to be replied to after tonight as we try and get things moving and shaking. So we have an incredible range of experience from people who are actually like building projects, like Rob is actually in the process of that, to folks who have not done it at all. And I'll pick on Brad for a little bit, to some of those who are ever so slightly resistant to it, all of which is 100% fine. Okay, here's the deal. And I'm just gonna share my screen real quick and we're gonna go through a bit of a conversation. And what I want you to understand here is, for those of you who do not know, we'll get this going on here. For those of you that do not know, this is intended to be a really more of an info process than anything else. I will do my best to answer any questions. I'm going to share with you what we've been working on. And I'm going to invite you to come and play with us as we are figuring some things out that I believe is going to have a monumental impact, not just on, please hear this, not just on economy and the decentralization of finance and any of those sort of things, but it will have an epic and particular impact on joint ventures, on our business, JVology, on the platform that we were working on, JV Connect. It is going to be incredibly far-reaching. Now, before I get into the specifics of that, though, I got to sort of give you the rundown and the background and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to move fairly fast. If you have a question, type it in the chat. Krista and Deborah, hodling crypto, interest in NFTs. EFTs, yes, absolutely. So a bunch of you are, or at least some of you are holding EFTs in, are holding crypto in EFTs, which we are actually doing that as well in terms of the kids' RESPs, a portion of it goes there as well. So here's the deal, JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit. And we are going to have a little bit of fun. This is, by the way, from our category. Oh, thank you, my love. Yes, I would love that. I got coffee delivered to me. This is one of the what we call additional events that are under the category of our Better Together mixers, which are just ways in which we can bring additional content, additional information, additional opportunities, and additional education to both members of the JVology community and a whole bunch of folks who are who don't know who we are or what we do necessarily. Which, by the way, I see a ton of faces and names here that look new in our world, which is kind of fascinating and marvelous. So if you've not been to anything JVology related, do me a favor and just type in the little chat window there that you're new. And I want to just take a moment to welcome each and every one of you here. We kind of consider ourselves a little bit of a family, and welcome to the family. Deborah, I'm Minder Glover's wife. Well, Deborah, the only thing I know about you is that you have pretty good taste. Minder seems like he's a reasonably good guy. That works out okay. Hey, Brenda, indeed. Thanks, she says, very serious. Okay. All right, great to see you all. So here's the deal. Today and tonight, what I want you to consider is that this is an invitation to co-create the future. And how many of you get the sense and are already participating in what you feel, know, and have experienced as a very fast and changing world in terms of finance, in terms of investment opportunities, in terms of the landscape of even what has value, such as NFTs, which not so long ago didn't even make sense to me that we could actually encode a digital file as something that was unique. Just raise your hand if you get that is what's going on here. We are on the edge of creating the future. And here's the truth of the matter: is the future is going to be created with or without you. And I want you just to really clearly hear that the future is going to be created with or without you. And you are going to either be left behind, dragged along kicking, or you're going to be, and By the way, sometimes it's just it's too hard to drag along kicking. Or you're going to get proactive and conscious about engaging, discovering, learning, and participating. And tonight's call is nothing more than my desire to serve and support the JVology community, to not be left behind and to not go kicking and dragging. I want you to ideally choose to step up, choose to participate, choose to learn, and choose to, how do I say this? Drop any resistance that you may have about this new world. And raise your hand if you have a little bit of resistance. And mine isn't up by accident, by the way. Okay. Here's the part that I want to share with you just for a brief second, which is this. Resistance is expensive. Like, resistance is expensive. And I want to read this to you because the print's a little bit small here, but then I'll give you a personal example. So Raul Paul, he is a ex-hedge fund manager. He is a brilliant advisor. His Real Vision channel does incredible work. So here's his opinion. We have never in all of human history been given an opportunity that an entire asset class, not a stock, not a single token, an entire asset class that goes up 100 times in value, probably by the end of this decade. This is the largest distribution of wealth and the fastest distribution of wealth in all of recorded history. Because unlike most of the wealth distributions, things like railroads, phones, even computers and the internet, they all accrue to giant companies, the ones that had the capital to actually build it and put the thing in place. This is accruing to tokens which anybody can participate in. Now, how many of you have already had some decent gains playing with what I'm going to call silly advice? Because for the most part, I call most of this stuff, probably including what I'm saying here tonight, in the category of silly advice. And I want to be perfectly clear with you, gang. Nothing I'm going to say here tonight is financial advice. Nothing is what you should do with your money. This is all about what you should do to get educated. And I will share with you the little bits I know. And I'm perfectly clear, I only know little bits. But who here has already had a little bit of a win with a token, with a coin, with a bit of investment advice, with an NFT, with a Shiba Inu, with a Bitcoin, with a Doge, with an Ethereum, with a lap dance, with a Marv put his hand up to lap dance. So okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm a Saskatchewan farm kid with a weird sense of humor. So bear with me if that. Bear with me, simple as I'm going to say it. Okay, so Jackie says, yes, minus all those things. I'm up nicely. Awesome. Love to hear that. So here's the thing that I have observed in my immediate network and my extended network is that we have lots of people. We have lots of people talking about things. We've got lots of people on the edge. We've got lots of people confused, myself included. And the cost of resistance and confusion is too high. So I want to just share a real quick personal example. And let me just, I wanted to do something here so that you guys could actually see. There we go. So I want to just share a quick little personal example. How many of you here are familiar with Helium, the cryptocurrency? A couple of you. How many of you are familiar with, excuse me, mining helium? Okay, a few of you. So here's a good example of how expensive something can be. So I'm invited to look at helium about, I would say it was 14 months ago, maybe 16 months ago. I look at it, I read about it. I probably spent 4 hours trying to learn about it. And here's the truth of it, is that I got it, like I understood it at a get it level, but I didn't understand it well enough to take action on the opportunity. How many of you have ever been in one of those boats where it's like, oh, yeah, I get what that means, but it still seems a little bit stupid and goofy, and it's outside of my frame of reference, and therefore I didn't do it. So here's the deal. It took me 14 months to take action on mining helium, which, by the way, my 2 miners are up and running, and my dear wife keeps making fun of me because I have never been so excited to make 37 cents at a time. And I know that sounds completely batshit crazy, but the truth is, like, about every hour, there's 37 cents, 92 cents, $1.92, these things mine. And I went back in time 14 months to people that had started then, and people with one single miner, and I installed 2 last weekend, people with one single miner who started back then are up between $60,000 and $230,000 US for something fundamentally as complex as plugging in an electrical outlet and an Ethernet cable. I think 14 months ago, I might have been able to master plugging in an electrical device and an Ethernet cable. But my ignorance, my resistance, and my confusion caused me to say no. So again, here's the point to this entire thing tonight. I want to inspire you to go learn. I want to inspire you to do what's right for you. I want to inspire you to think in different ways. And I want to invite you to get a whole bunch of free support and training from us. Does that sound reasonable? Okay. I resonate with this. My son told me to invest in Bitcoin 4 years ago. He did, and I didn't. Well, the good news is he'll be able to take care of you when you're much older then. But on that same note, by the way, I bought my first Bitcoin in a wallet, which I since lost in 2014. And then I started active in 2017. And that, I just wish I'd started earlier, is the honest truth I'm banking on. Okay, so let's get moving and shaking. So our overview tonight. I'm going to talk very briefly about crypto. Please understand, it is not my intention to educate you about this. My intention is for you to figure out what you need to go get educated about. We're going to talk about NFTs. We're going to talk about your choice. What the hell are you going to do in terms of participating, not participating, learning, not learning, all of those pieces. I'm going to invite you to a bunch of support through JVology, which is, I am unbelievably excited about this because this support is going to assist you tremendously. And it is something that we're going to be building in on a consistent basis with our platform that is coming up, JVology Connect, which is going to be outstanding. We're going to go through a little action map so you're perfectly clear about what that would take if you want to participate in any of the support that we're going to offer you. And we're going to attempt to be done all of this by about 6 o'clock, as short, fast, and easy as I can possibly make it. And then I'll hang out and I'll ask questions. I probably will ask questions. There's a lot for me to learn too, but the thing was I'll answer questions to the best of my ability. So if that all makes good sense, type in the chat a hell yeah so I know we're on the same page. Yeah, and Rob was just saying helium's a cool project. I don't know how to gauge the potential upside versus the current market cap. Neither do I, Rob, but here's the honest goodness truth, is that at the performance of the first 2 days of doing it, the return on investment looks like it's going to be like a grand total of like 65 days, and all of the investment is paid for, and everything after that is profit until the thing doesn't work anymore. So at a 65-day ROI, hell's bells, I'll test that thing all day long. Hell yeah. Okay. Oh, yes, I already said the Q&A. I'll have a ton of questions for you. So let's just talk about crypto for a moment or two. So is there anyone here, and just put it in the chat here, and please understand that there are no dumb questions when it comes to this. Nobody's going to judge you about what you do know and don't know or any of those sorts of things. The truth of the matter is all of us combined don't know diddly about crypto in the big scope of the world, what its possibilities are, how it unfolds, and all of those pieces. Like, it is incredibly complex. But I'm going to just go through some chapter titles here. First and foremost, crypto and blockchain are two different things. Even though they are often talked about as the same thing, they are two different things. Blockchain, think of, and I'm going to oversimplify shit to the nth degree, and if somebody knows better knows such things, put it in the chat. Think of the blockchain as a public ledger that is co-created by a multitude of computers at the same time that verify that what is on there is accurate and correct. It is in theory impossible to hack. It is impossible to duplicate. It is impossible to copy. It is impossible to change because there are so many pieces of work at place, and it is all public record and in theory above board. The first blockchain gave birth to the first Bitcoin, which fundamentally is the Bitcoin that we know, which has been around for absolute eons, has been absolutely going through the roof, and has recently seen an all-time high, which many people in the space deem to be not an all-time high, but a invitation to the masses to say, hey, my friends, this shit isn't going anywhere. This is actually permanent. It is real. People are building businesses around it. And if it isn't already clear to you, in February of this year, the Canadian government, which my dear friend David Murphy, I just saw you down in the corner. Hello, David, how are you? My dear friend David Murphy assisted us in getting the JV Connect offering memorandum done. The Canadian government is a series of flaming hoops of fire to get anything done in the financial space, but the Canadian government approved the first cryptocurrency ETF in February of this year. And for those of you who are Americans, you know that the American government just approved the cryptocurrency ETFs for the US in October. Now, why does that matter? Well, it matters because that provides a vehicle for billions of dollars to flow into crypto and those sort, particularly Bitcoin and Ethereum in the cases of the Canadian things. Electronic, so just, I'm going to just back up for a brief moment. So I want to be clear about this. So billions of dollars have found their way into that process. You can be goddamn sure that the Canadian government, the US government did not make this decision lightly. And the very fact that they are doing it is a little bit of a nudge that says the crypto thing is probably not a fad. So on that note, you can, in our case, you can hold RESPs, RESPs, TFSAs, all those sorts of things can hold electronically traded funds that make it really simple, clean, and easy. Anyway, so I don't want to go too much into that other than to say Ethereum has its own blockchain, Polkadot has its own blockchain, a variety have their own blockchain, which are the processes by which these things are tracked. But Bitcoin was the first and currently the most valuable. Ethereum, by the way, hit its all-time high today. I got some data on that that will make you smile. Anybody holding Ethereum? Did you have like a little cheers today? Yeah, I hold a little bit. Not enough to have a big cheers, but it was like a, that's a good day. What you need to know just in terms of this entire process is that a blockchain can have its own coin. So the Ethereum blockchain has Ethereum. The Bitcoin blockchain has Bitcoin. And coins are a little bit different. The thing that was supposed to be after that was supposed to be tokens, but I put them out of order. Tokens are things that are coins, and tokens are built on another blockchain. So there's the Ethereum blockchain. You can have a whole variety of tokens that sit on top of that. Some of those tokens have real value. Some of those tokens are called shitcoins. There's an entire range in that entire process. Stable coins are something that is married to a fiat currency. And of course, the irony to all of this, and why I think one of these things are incredibly important, is that fiat currency is already under inflation. We're going to see more of that, in my humble opinion, as we head forward. And that stability, I think, is slightly ironic because it's pegging something that might potentially be more stable to something that is potentially less stable, but now we call it stable coins. That, by the way, is just my own opinion. Believe it, don't believe it, doesn't matter. Then, to interact with all of these things, you need things like wallets, a place to hold your crypto. So there are MetaMask wallets, there are Coinbase wallets, there are all sorts of wallets. So that, just think of it kind of like how you have one. There are bridges because you need to be able to figure out a way for one cryptocurrency to get into the other cryptocurrency. This is one of my pet peeves about this, is that if you want to take advantage of one coin, you might have to open a new exchange, because that exchange is the only one that deals with that particular one. So for those of you who, I encourage you to go play with Shiba Inu, you pretty much had to go to Coinbase. Even if you didn't want to go to Coinbase, you had to go to Coinbase. So those are just some of the things that become a bit of a pain in the ass. And there are both exchanges, which trade them, and then bridges, which help you get from one blockchain over to another blockchain. And then, of course, there's NFTs, which is the primary thing I want to talk about here today. But here's the point. If there's anything in that list of words that you don't know what it is, you don't know how it works, you don't have one already, then here's what I need you to understand, is that this is the basic language of the world of cryptocurrency. And in the same way as the basic language of, here's $10, I want to buy something for $5, give me $5 back, that we all take for granted in the world in which we're used to. These are the basics you need to know to be able to do that. And by the way, just to be clear about this, I'm just going to say the first thing that everybody asks, can I get my crypto out? You know what? There are crypto credit cards. You can transfer the crypto from your account and have it in your bank account inside of, the last time I did it, it took me 2.5 days. By the way, that's faster than getting money out of registered investments in Canada in structured banks. So don't give me bullshit about it's not accessible and there's too many steps and all those sorts of things. And you didn't have, and when I cashed in, I didn't have to get a lecture from the financial advisor telling me it's a really good thing just to leave it in our bank. Anybody ever gotten one of those? Yeah. My response was a slightly politer bite me. So again, anything you don't know on this list, I would just write down and make sure you go and research it and figure it out. Now, a couple of facts, and these I just thought was fun and entertaining, so I just want to share it with you. Over the past 10 years, Bitcoin, so this is Bitcoin itself, has beaten out all other, it says over, but it was other asset classes by at least a factor of 10. Now, that sounded a little bit like, marketing hyperbole and hype, so went and did a little research. So Robert Talamas did all of the research from beginning to end in the last 10 years. Bitcoin has an average annualized return of a mere 230% for the decade. Now, again, the part I want you to understand is that at this moment in time, when institutional investors, banks, and all those things are getting in, the adoption rate is still a tiny fraction of our population that holds wealth in fiat currency, a tiny fraction. Now, by the way, I tried to poke around to find out what that number is. It doesn't seem as though anybody knows in terms of the changes that are going on, all the rest of it. But if I had to make it up, and I'd love to know any of your perspectives on this, I think it's under 5%. And Bill, when we were all out in Kananaskis at that retreat, and there's a bunch of, Anne was there too. I just see Anne's face. I asked in the room a bunch of these smart movers and shakers, great entrepreneurs, all the rest of it. So who here holds crypto? And I expect like 90% of the room to put up their hand, and 3 people out of 16 put up their hand. I almost fell over. So if it's 5%, I'd be surprised. What happens in this marketplace when the other 95% shows up? It's going to be an interesting spot. You can lose money too. Just to be clear about this, you can lose money everywhere. And depending upon what you choose to do, that likelihood goes up or down. But 100%, I do not, how do I put this? I'll give you just one other particular example. So a dear friend of mine, ex-business partner, had made a lot of money. And I would wager it was probably near 7 figures on Bitcoin in terms of a couple of the waves. And he put a stop loss order in to make sure that he secured himself, and he got bumped out utterly and completely, and it damn near wiped him out. So make no mistake, Bitcoin's annualized returns were 230%. But if you were to go and look at those charts on a week by week basis, the fluctuation in that would make most investors sick to their stomach. So please understand, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to run out and buy Bitcoin. Although, to be perfectly clear, I am. Okay. Now, Ethereum hit its all-time high today, above $4,700. And August 11th, 2015, less than 10 years ago, Ethereum was an incredibly high 67 cents. Do the math on that. Good God. And ETFs, electronically traded funds, are here, and I already talked about this. The first in the world was in Canada, and they're frankly all over North America now. And there are some interesting, they're not exactly ETFs, but there are ways in which you can bulk trade and them in the European marketplace as well. So, Justin, are you serious? Went to a financial literary conference, and out of 800 participants, less than 12 came to hang out at the crypto table. That horrifies me, to be perfectly honest. Like that worries me as straight as I can say it. Okay, so I want to talk about NFTs, and the reason I want to talk about NFTs is that I have been diving into what the possibilities of NFTs are, and quite honestly, it is unbelievable and huge. So I'm just going to talk about this very briefly. And by the way, people don't understand the thing. That is, Pascal, you just hit the nail on the head. That is the entire purpose of this conversation. That's the entire purpose of the free trainings that we're going to start doing for the JVology community. Is the entire purpose of trying to wake up our community so that we are on the leading edge, not the dragging, bleeding edge. There's 2 different things there, just so you're clear. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. What that fundamentally means in a nutshell is that it is a unique digital asset. This unique digital asset could be a variety of things. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of different examples as we go through this, but think of it from this perspective. One of one. One of one. Very different than if I had $100 in this hand and you had $100 in your hand. We could swap them and we'd both still have $100, exactly $100. But in the NFT world, that doesn't really exist. It's one of the reasons why the Gary V, and I wanted to, are any of you Gary V fans, Gary Vaynerchuk? Yeah, he's an unusual fellow. I like him because he works hard and he's vocal. And he creates, like the man creates. So if you want a great sort of case study, do a little homework on Gary V's, they're called V Friends. He hand drew, I think it's the 5,000 different NFTs, each of them having different unique capabilities, which we'll talk more about in a moment or two. Now, lots of goods contracted for with an individual specimen being specified, able to replace or replaced by another identical item. Yes, exactly. So $100 and $100 is fungible, it's transferable. Non-fungible, it is not the same. Like a signed piece of art. Yes, Anne, absolutely true. Okay, so let's get on with this. Unique, non-interchangeable, but here's the part that has had me up late at night trying to wrap my head around this idea of smart contracts. And the smart contracts that can be embedded in a NFT are going to change the entire joint venture space. So how many of you know that we've been working on this joint venture matching platform? We've been raising some capital for that joint venture matching platform. I am incredibly excited about this. One of the issues, and I'll tell you straight up, one of the issues in the entire joint venture space, and for those of you who aren't really familiar with that, think of joint ventures as affiliate marketing, embedded content, where we're co-marketing projects where we come together, and there's always a tracking issue. Like, how many of you ever had a tracking issue? It's like you produced a joint venture affiliate link, and then the affiliate link went into the ether, and then the client cleared their cookies, and then Bob said they sent the person, and Sally said they sent the person. They both would like to be paid for it. It's just a bit of a pain in the ass. Raise your hand if you've ever been in that spot. Yes. Now, have you also ever been in the spot where you did a great JV with someone, and you know that they rang the cash register? There might be $10,000 sitting there, $15,000 sitting there, $20,000 sitting there. And I have one of those deals going on right this very second that I delivered the clients quite some time ago, but I haven't had the cash delivered to me, and it takes a little bit of time. Raise your hands. Yes. And honest to goodness, I'm on both sides of that, because sometimes it's like we have to go through 4 days of checking of every damn link, every damn person, how they came in, all the rest of it, to make sure we're paying the right people. It's a pain in the you-know-what. Okay, here's the game-changing piece about smart contracts embedded in NFTs. What if you could use an NFT, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I'm excited about this if you can't tell. What if you could use an NFT that when the NFT transferred, it gave access to your digital course, it gave access to your book, it gave access to your mastermind program, it gave access to your coaching program, it gave access to your XYZ, NLP, whatever the hell it is. And at the moment of purchase, because you did a joint venture with your dear friend, I'm just looking at Ange, your face. Let's imagine that I wanted to support and promote one of Ange's products. At the moment when it transfers, the smart contract on the back of the NFT splits the money, sends her money to her, my money to me. You can even build in an NFT an ongoing royalty that says, hey, we can sell this thing as many times as people are interested in it. And at the end of the day, 5%, 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever it is, actually comes back to the creator. So if you're an author, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, if you're any of those sorts of things, you can actually create an NFT that every single time it gets transferred, you get paid auto-magically. Ta-da, just shows up in your account. Now, that is just one example of a multitude of different smart contracts that is going to change the game. It is one of the reasons why with the JV Connect platform, we are working on an NFT capacity so that the NFTs take care of all of the tracking, because most of the people who will be participating there are going to be a tier 2 or a tier 3 partner, and the smart contracts will simply handle all of the distribution. Raise your hand if what I just said makes sense to you. Raise your hand if you think that it sounds interesting, but it still doesn't make any damn sense. It's all good, don't worry. Okay, so I just want to give you some NFT examples, because here's what I believe. I believe if you are an intellectual property entrepreneur, which, you know, basically every single person I see on this screen who I know is an intellectual property entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form. If you are an intellectual property entrepreneur, you are going to need to get your NFTs designed, built, integrated, smart contracts developed, the technology in your wallets and your exchanges set up so that you can participate in this. And here's my humble opinion. If I have to toot the JVology horn itself. I don't know if any of you know this, but in the last, let's call it, in the last 18 months, there's been about 6 or 7 additional JV communities have sort of manifested out of thin air, from return on relationships to a variety of others. There's a whole bunch of them. But what's fascinating is that none of them have wrapped their head around this yet. And JVology is going to be the first that is going to serve and support its community to understand what it is, build it out, put it in place. And in that process, I believe that we will end up leaps and bounds ahead of most of the other folks still trying to figure out, it's like, I don't know what happened to the affiliate link. Maybe they cleared their cookies. Which, honest to God, if I have to hear that goddamn sentence one more time in my entire life, it will be more than necessary, shall we say. Now, I just want to scan the comments here so I haven't missed anything. Are there service? That's a really great question, Denise. Are there service fees like for PayPal and Stripe? And the answer to that question is there's fees everywhere. However, those fees are currently changing. They are constantly evolving. And for the most part, and there will be some distinctions, and I'll explain some in a moment or two, and for the most part, they are significantly less than in other cases. And we'll talk about some of those pieces. And this is, again, one of the elements of the Friday complimentary trainings that we are going to be offering. So here's, how many people heard the story of the Beeple auction at Sotheby's? Okay, so if you haven't heard it, you can see that this, this by the way is a picture of the NFT. So Sotheby's ran the first auction for an NFT, and this guy named Beeple, who up to this point fundamentally had only ever sold, before he got into the NFT space, had only ever sold a piece of his art for the grand total of about $100. That was the peak of his work. Now, this particular piece of work is called 5,000 Days. And what he did was he got up every single day for 5,000 days and drew a unique piece of artwork. He aggregated and conglomerated them into this piece of work called, shockingly enough, 5,000 Days. And Sotheby's said, we're going to auction this thing and make a record and set a record. Now, what they thought at the beginning was that we were talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. But this piece of work went for $69 million. Now, let us be perfectly clear about this. While I would love for that to happen to somebody here, the odds of that are also slightly, you getting struck by lightning 2 or 3 times in your life is likely slightly more realistic. But by the way, I once said that and somebody's like, well, I've been hit twice. I just got to get it one more time. And it's like, good God, man, don't go outside, stay inside. So this particular piece of art, and by the way, Gary Vee just sold something, I think it was for $4 million at Sotheby's as well, one of his V friends. But just think of that one big piece of art. Now, here's where NFTs are, and I'm just going to give you some crazy examples because I want you to begin to wrap your head around, and then I'm going to give you a simple place to start. Okay, so don't, if I say shit that your brain is going like, that's way beyond me, don't worry about it. Hang tough. I promise you, I'll give you a simple start. So a friend of mine was at New York City NFT conference, and this was one of her favorite pieces, which was, because you've got the smart contracts, people are creating an NFT that has different rewards / smart contracts that get triggered. Please hear this, in 3 different ways. So first and foremost, you could buy an NFT and you could get a physical reward in a physical space. So quite literally, you could take your NFT with your wallet, and you could take it to the store that says they're going to do delivery, and you could say, hey, I want a pair of the Jordan shoes that I have purchased and comes with my NFT. And they go get you the Jordan shoes, and you put on the Jordan shoes, they mark it off on the blockchain saying that you received it, off you go, it's done. And then you go home and you put on your virtual reality headset. How many of you are playing with virtual reality? I know Rob is heavy duty into it and has them for years. So you quite literally put on your virtual reality headset and wander into the metaverse or your VR world, and you could get your little virtual reality piece of artwork, tool, skin, clothes, hairdo, whatever the case it is, you could get in the virtual world. Let's just carry the basketball metaphor further is if you imagine you're playing basketball virtually with your friends from all over the world, and you get to slide on your Air Jordans in the virtual world. Making sense? And then for those of you who watched any of the metaverse piece on Facebook, that same NFT could be then cashed in or traded in or articulated or fulfilled in the metaverse, so that when you walk into your house, how many of you watched the thing that Zuckerberg did in terms of your house and your workspace and all those things? Nobody watched that? Good God, folks, go, like when we're done here, go to YouTube and search Zuckerberg and the metaverse. And quite literally, where you can build your own space, your own home, your all those sorts of things. And quite literally, you would have your pair of Air Jordans in the closet in the metaverse. Too much, or are you, who's tracking? Raise your hand if you're tracking what I'm talking about. Okay, so who's like, what the hell is he talking about? And get me an LMNOP. Okay, a couple of you, all good. So don't worry about it, except to understand this. NFTs are this incredibly versatile tool that is going to allow people to do business simultaneously in the physical world, in the metaverse, which is going to overtake us incredibly quickly, and in our virtual reality worlds, which in the next, and Rob, I'd love your opinion, I'm going to say 3 years to 5 years, are going to become as commonplace as all of the rest of it. So there aren't very many vehicles that are transportable in that manner. Raise your hand if you get it. Okay, so that, by the way, was just like a, that was like a Hail Mary pass for the 3 people on the call that get it. The part I want to back up the bus to is to understand that they don't need to be that complex in any way, shape, or form. You could think of something just as simple as this. So this little NFT here, of NFTs Gone Wild, which with a digital image of me, is going to be our first series of NFTs that we are going to be issuing to our, what we call VIP members. So a VIP member for us is a member of Flow, is a member of Mastery, is a member of Sale. Okay, so those are the folks that, and I see a whole bunch of you here that are in those spots. You know, Marilyn, Yadrenka, and sorry, people moving around, Ivano and Anne and Bill, and yeah, so there's a whole bunch of you. So you're going to get a complimentary NFT. Now, here's the thing. Those NFTs, we are going to put on the simplest of simple smart contracts, which each of those NFTs represents a JVology Live VIP ticket. So think of it from your perspective. How many of you have events? How many of you have coaching experiences? How many of you have masterminds? How many of any of those sorts of things? Raise your hand if you got that stuff. Okay, my direct request to you is this. Stop thinking about selling tickets to your event and start thinking about how you wrap a smart contract, including your event, around an NFT, because the benefits are going to curl your hair as you begin to understand it. Okay, so it's going to include our VIP mixer and mingle, again, tied to the NFT. You're also going to get actual cryptocurrency as a incentive slash bribe slash, for the love of all things good in the world, people, lead and learn, which is 5,000 PFAN tokens. And we're going to talk more about this platform called PowerFan in a moment or two. And we're going to include the listing in the JV database. And by the way, that's the aggregation of the data that is the backbone of the JV Connect platform that we're building. So we'll give you a listing there. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And this is the thing that I love, because we're always trying to help people do joint ventures. We're always trying to help people make more money with joint ventures. We're always trying to help people eliminate the friction in joint ventures. So here's the deal. I'm going to give every one of our premium clients, again, that's Flow, Mastery, and Sale, one NFT. That NFT has all of these capacities attached to it. Now you can sell the NFT, and instantly when you sell it, you get 60% and I get 40, which, by the way, if you haven't already noticed, that's exactly the opposite of what our current JV deal is, which is you send the link, we buy it, we collect the money, you got to wait for us to do the same thing, which is to figure out who paid for it and all those sorts of things and send you the money and all those sorts of things. And I keep 60% and I give you 40. But in the case of this, it is instantly transferred to you, your 60%, and I take 40%. That's an example of how you can wrap. And by the way, this is a very simple example because we didn't want to get too sexy out of the gate. We wanted to just give you a practical, tangible example that you could actually use, experience, build, sell, and get your feet wet in this space. Okay, I want to make sure I'm going to check the chat here so we're all on the same page. Yeah, frankly, Tom, I'm just going to read exactly what you said because you have said it. You can attach any details you want to the smart contract. That's what's so exciting about NFTs for us small business owners. It's not about the art, it's about the smart contracts, how resourceful they can be used. Run your information businesses with NFTs and smart contracts. All right. Apparently, Tom says it in 13 seconds, but takes me 47 minutes. So I guess we're done again. I'm an artist, and Kelly, good to see you, by the way, Kelly. I can earn a royalty every time somebody resells my work. Looking forward to getting my NFTs up. Rob says, and that's how a billionaire says first. Make sure we haven't missed it. Metaverse, tracking, blah, blah, blah. We're on the same page. Holy doodles, there's a lot of comments. Okay, that by the way, I truly, genuinely appreciate the engagement here. So Bill says, so we're now all crypto holders. Thank you, Jay. So you're welcome, but I want to be clear that there are some strings attached because here's what I don't want to have happen. And I want to be super clear about this, and we'll get to this in a moment or two. I don't want any of you to do what I did in 2014, which is, great. I was an early adopter and I got a wallet, and I was an early adopter and I bought a little bit of Bitcoin. And then I was like, that's awesome. And I think probably the best thing I should do before getting all wigged out about it is just set it aside and not worry about it. And I set it aside and not worried about it so much that I don't know where I set it aside. That's a dumbass move, my friends. Have you ever done that? Like put something away for safekeeping and then forget where you put it? Okay, don't do that with crypto. That's just not a sharp thing to do. It's just not. Okay, so here's what I want to make sure is that people don't just get this thing and set up a wallet and forget it and not pay attention to it. So there's some conditions and processes around that. So actually, I'll go through your choice first, and then I want to just see if there's any preliminary questions before we go through what those conditions might look like. So here's how I see this. And I've been in this boat, quite frankly, since 2014. You have some choices related to cryptocurrency, related to the whole new world of decentralized finance, related to this world of Web 3.0, related to this world of NFTs. And by the way, I sort of see NFTs, if it isn't already clear to you, as a strategic endpoint that if you're going to tackle NFTs, you're actually already stepping into Web 3.0. You're actually already beginning to use the blockchain. You're actually already setting up an exchange. You're actually already getting your wallet open. This was like, and by the way, and you're also leveraging your business for greater fun, profit, and better joint ventures. So I kind of see this thing as if there was one way in which I could support the community to put all those pieces together in one damn project, this is it. Does that make sense? So I don't want you to take a wait and see approach. I do not want you, and this is the other thing, gang, I don't want you trying to jump in and out of the market, trying to time the market. Here's the thing that you have to know about even, let's just call it Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two granddaddies in the space. What they say are the sort of the most powerful, the standard, this, that. They still have incredible swings in them that lots of people find very difficult to take. So here's my stand on this, is don't try to time the market. You don't know enough about it, and neither do I. And neither does most of the world. Unless you're Elon Musk tweeting buy Doge, unless you're that guy, you don't have a goddamn clue. That's pretty much as simple as I can say that. Does that make sense? So don't time the market. Be smart enough to spend time in the market. And those are two very different strategies. Does that make sense to you? Just raise your hand if you're tracking. Okay. The other choice is you can just follow random advice on social media influencers who are paid to promote, because that always works out well. You should do more of that every single time. Or you can, which is my invitation in this entire process, begin to spend some time to educate yourself. And by the way, here's the honest God truth about this, is that it is an investment. And it's one of the reasons why I think adoption has been as slow as it has in the blockchain, crypto, and NFT world, is that the amount of time, effort, and energy it takes to try and figure this shit out is significant. And people get confused, get conflicting information, get scared, and step out. And if you're going to educate yourself, I think that it would be really wise to educate yourself and then to share that wisdom, experience, and opportunity within a community you trust. So those are the choices as I see it. And I think that you should choose the last two. And that is what we want you to do. All right. Now, are there any sort of core questions or anything that I have glossed over incredibly quickly and deliberately that I can avoid a question about? Because I mean, in all seriousness, if you do have a question, just you can just raise your hand, and I'm happy to do what I can to try and connect a couple of dots, because I don't want people lost utterly and completely before we. Hey, Linnea, how are you? I'm just going to ask you to unmute there, my dear.
I am good. So my question is it possible to play in the NFT space without playing in the crypto space? Because like I don't have the ability to take the risk for crypto right now, but I love the idea of creating NFTs based around my services and products.
Yeah. So the answer to that question is sort of, okay. So I know that there are some exchanges. So this PowerFan platform, for example, does allow the purchasing of some NFTs through credit card and PayPal. But here's the honest goodness truth. For you to truly get the entire benefit of it, what you're going to need to do is to open up probably a MetaMask wallet is going to be the easiest. That's what we're going to help people do when we go through these free Friday trainings. Okay. You're going to put a little bit of money in a MetaMask account using Ethereum. And from there, now you can start actually minting NFTs, selling NFTs, trading NFTs. And what happens is if any of your work gets sold through that process, that money just lands right in your account. So don't think of it as like, oh my God, I got to go buy a bunch of crypto and then I've got to, no, that's not how it works. You're going to set up the structure and we'll hold your hand through that process. You'll set up the structure and you'll say, look, I'm going to put $500 in my MetaMask account, which is for all intents and purposes, we're just going to say, which is now my crypto business account, because I'm going to wrap some of my services with NFTs, and that's how I'm going to get paid. That's it. So in the same way as you would have a checking account, perhaps at two different banks, you're going to have a checking account at one bank, and you're going to have a MetaMask wallet, which is Ethereum based. That is going to be the tool that you'll use to interact here. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, totally. Thank you.
And is that doable?
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else that I can answer real quick before we sort of jump into the next piece?
Sorry, one more thought.
Yep.
Real quick. I really do appreciate, Jay, that you're finding that way to hold our hands through, because I've heard about crypto for over a year now, but I can never find the right way to play or feel like, and now you're basically handing us the right way to play. So it's really nice.
Well, and I'm just going to tweak it. I'm handing you a way to play that I believe is going to force you to learn what's going to be right for you.
Right.
Does that make sense? Because I don't think honest to God, in this space, I don't think there is a right way. I genuinely don't. But I do know that there are some basics that we all have to master so that we can find our way. Thank you.
And if I could just add, you're sharing a way that we can make it applicable in our businesses, in our world, because there's so much of the crypto world that is outside of the realm of anything we would be involved in. But this is a very relevant way, right? We can all get behind this idea of, NFT tokens on top of the sales of our products and services. So we need to figure it out, obviously, but thank you for forcing us to do that.
My absolute pleasure. And I just see a couple of other quick questions. Is anybody doing staking here? I have just started playing with staking, Joseph, and I'm going to just say this real quick before the next hand goes up. There are really sort of three ways to play in the crypto space, and I'm just going to give you chapter. So one is to trade it and to buy it and to sell it and to hold it and to do all those sorts of things. You get an exchange, you pay your money, you take your chances. The next one is versions of staking where you're fundamentally the bank, which fundamentally means that you are loaning your crypto that then gets tied in and you get an API that could be anywhere from 5, hell, all the way up to 1,000. Obviously, the riskier, the higher, all that fun stuff. So you can actually be the bank in this whole world of decentralized finance by simply loaning your money to a project, to a platform, to an exchange, you insert the blanks. And if you think about that, that one simple process changes the landscape for most human beings. Most human beings are pretty busy borrowing money. And for the first time in a simple way, we get to loan money. And one of the greatest investments that Corey and I have had for the past 20 years is that we've done private mortgages. So $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, which we would loan for short terms to, there's kind of a community of about 10 of us. And what's funny is that I swear to God, this group of about 10 of us, we keep borrowing and paying back and borrowing and repaying back about the same $200,000 over and over and over again for the past 15 years. It's just in different people's hands at different times. But that has been one of my best investments ever. And the fact that we can actually get into that, which by the way, we will touch on in the free trainings, but that is not a big part of what we're doing. We're going to be focusing on NFTs. Staking is a marvelous opportunity for most human beings to begin to be the bank and be the lender instead of the borrower. So that's that. Oh, and then the third way is mining, which is why I was so happy to get these silly helium miners up and running, because that quite literally creates money out of thin air, and with the proper tools, it is quite astounding. I'm actually just logging in here real quick to see what has happened here since. So in 2 days, those two silly little miners, which by the way, together cost $1,200, let's just round up with all of the install fees and all those sorts of things. Let's call them $1,500 each. In 2 days, they've generated $142, and that's not even 2 full days. It won't be 2 full days until midnight tonight. That ain't bad. And by the way, HNT is climbing like mad. So those are the 3 ways you can think about it. So you could trade, you could be the bank, and or you could mine, or you could do a combination of all 3. We'll talk more about that. Minders, my friend, your hand was up next, and then Rob.
Yeah, so clarifying question, Jay, you mentioned in the offer for the VIP group that one of the things people would get are the 5,000 power fan tokens.
Yes.
Would you explain that and give some context for that?
Short version is this, that's more of a Friday conversation because I'm going to invite people that want to play back to come back and start participating in these free Friday trainings. But to make a long story short, there is a platform that mints NFTs that also has its own token that can be utilized in a variety of different ways. And we're going to go into partnership. I think you were at the cryptocurrency sort of talk that we had with Jesse Krieger, and we're going to be utilizing his NFT minting platform. So those power fan tokens will help you mint your processes, will help you pay for fees there, will have its own economy as well as things go on. They're going to be tradable on the Uniswap platform here very shortly. So this is one of those things, by the way, if you've ever heard this idea of like, how do you get into either an ICO or a project early before it hits anything? Raise your hand if you're like, man, if only I knew how to do that. Okay, well, PowerFan would be one of those things. It hasn't even gotten to the spot where it is tradable yet, but it soon will be. Make sense?
Yep, thanks.
Awesome. Rob.
Yeah, so I just wanted to answer some of your questions, Jay. You were asking, I think, about timing for sort of adoption or more mass adoption of this whole metaverse thing that that Facebook sort of put on the map for probably hundreds of millions of more people in the last couple of days, and led to an explosion of some of these metaverse crypto coins like Decentraland and Sandbox and a whole bunch of others.
Yep.
So Facebook acquired Oculus a couple of years ago. They're the producers of the Quest headset, which is far and away the leader in the VR space. I've got a couple behind me here in my office. So that is the leader. There is going to be a new headset probably towards the end of next year from Facebook. Apple is entering the market. There are other players in there like Valve, their Index headset and some others, but the big game changer, I think, between mass adoption of Facebook's Quest, or now the Meta Quest, and then Apple will be releasing, they're expected to be releasing a combined VR and AR headset possibly by the end of next year. I think it's probably just as likely that it's going to be 2023. So that's sort of the runway to the ramp up to huge adoption. Because once Apple releases it, I mean, there's going to be lineups for blocks, for miles, right, to buy this thing. And it will be a more expensive version. But essentially, these are your portals into the metaverse, as they call it. What is the metaverse? It's really, you know, you've got all kinds of different, and gamers are familiar with this. There's all kinds of, you can call them persistent online worlds. So these environments that you can jump into, socialize with other people, maybe go on adventures or gaming, or maybe it's go to war with other people, whatever it is, you know, or go and hunt Pokemon and that sort of thing. So it's this combination of these virtual worlds along with augmented reality, which is just basically layering things or inserting things into the real world to provide whatever information or entertainment you're looking for. So all of these things combined make up the metaverse. It sounds like very few people here have adopted VR at this point, which, if I may, validates one of the things that I'm doing, which is that my goal is by the end of this month to roll out a basic course that just says you want to jump into the Quest, which is the headset at this time. Like, this is how you do it without spending the hundreds of hours of trial and error and trying to figure it all out. And here are sort of your best resources.
Rob, just to interrupt for a brief moment though, if you want somebody who's been at this at the beginning, like 5 years ago, you brought a headset out to the JVology Summit. Like yep. Rob has been at this since since the virtual reality headsets were a lot like mimes. You know, so people just moved around in front of against the wind. Like he's been at it a while.
Yeah, so I know a lot about it.
No one thought that was funny except for me. Not one person.
I've introduced a lot of people to it, which has saved them a lot of time, energy, and money, and helped them to get a lot more out of it. So I figured, why don't I just put my knowledge to paper, so to speak, and make something that's super affordable that people will, you know, get back on their first, accessory purchase or game purchase. I'm just going to make it really cheap just because I love it. And I know that people want and need to know about this stuff.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. All right, gang. So I'm going to, and if you have any questions in that domain, just reach out to Rob. He's a good guy who will help you out with those things. And a couple of pieces about this. So I want to answer a little bit more fully that Polygon question, not the Polygon question. And by the way, Kelly, I cannot answer the Polygon question. That is a whole piece of layer 2 above Ethereum, and that is a technology question way above my head. The part I can tell you is that the platform we're using, which is PowerFan, will be moving towards Polygon to try to avoid some of the Ethereum gas fees. But that is a process that is way far above my head. Okay, I want to just share my screen real quick here to show you and I'm going to share a link with you. If any of you want to find out more about minting your own NFTs, about exchanges that help you with that process. This is our joint venture partner in this entire process, and Jesse and his team will actually be hosting a bunch of the Friday trainings. And the thing that's really fascinating about PowerFan is that it allows you to mint your own NFTs. It has a marketplace for NFTs. They will do an incredible amount of support for you to figure this out. And they really created this for authors and course creators, because that was he was a book publisher, not just artists. So the reason we chose him is that they have an angle that is related to intellectual property entrepreneurs, not just artists, but they certainly have a whole bunch of great artist projects as well. So I just put that link in there, gang. If any of you want to jump on there ahead of time, you can go snoop around, you can set up an account, you can do all those sorts of things. I did today, it's called My First. While we were testing the process for the NFTs that we'll be gifting to the platinum members or the premium members of JVology. And the process is incredibly simple. Every single aspect of it is tweakable, and it is going to make a monumental difference in the world for certain. So you can go check that thing out if you want to. Now I'm going to stop sharing, and then I'm going to let you all know about the routes in which you can play if you want to. And I got to share the other screen here again. Hit the wrong button. There we go. Okay, so a couple of you have already said this, but how many of you just feel like for you to do anything in this realm, it's just going to take somebody who's going to invest the time to hold your hand, to show you what to do, to show you how to do it, and all those sorts of things? Because honest to God, it is what we all need. So that is why in this process, I came up with something that I think is frankly pretty spectacular. And I'll explain it to you in terms of how it goes. Now, the objective, I've said this since the get-go, I'll say it again, is to inspire, guide, and support JVology community members to learn, participate, and profit in the crypto revolution. And that crypto revolution is an incredibly broad process, but we're going to focus on NFTs first. When you get those foundations done, then we can begin to expand a little bit. So we could lean on people like Rob, we could lean on people like Bill and Dustin, we could lean on a whole variety of people that will help us get those things done. Now, component number one, free training. We are going to do what we're calling Freedom Fridays, which will be 11 o'clock Mountain every single Friday. And I want you to understand that that will all be aimed at a couple of key things, and I'll explain the tracks in a moment or two. So we'll give you tech support and getting set up. So Linnea, you were asking us like, well, do I have to do a whole bunch of stuff in crypto? No, but you do have to get your MetaMask wallet set up. You do have to get it linked. You have to understand how those things work. You've got to get the thing funded. You've got to so we'll step you through all those pieces. And here's what you need, gang. Who here remembers the very first dollar you ever sold? Like as a business, like that first customer, that first dollar, that first, yeah. I remember as a kid, like going into stores where they'd have that first dollar like up on the wall behind and those sorts of things. Here's what you need is you need experience buying and selling. So you see the entire experience front to back. And we want to create a process that steps you through the entire process. And you have to learn the tech setup. This is not one of those things where a done for you service makes any sense because it keeps changing and you have to understand the pieces and how they relate to one another. So that's what we've come up with. Now, there are two tracks to this, and I want to explain the tracks very, very quickly because the two tracks apply to two different, very separate folks of people. Is that, yes, that's a Saskatchewanism. Two very separate sets of folks of people. This is how this is going to go. So track number one, this is for our Flow, Mastery, and Sale members. So trainings every Friday for the next 4 weeks. Now, we will gift you an NFT Gone Wild NFT. So each of you will get one. Okay. Now, please understand, as you can see in the fine print there, it says you pay the gas fees. Now, we're going to talk more about what gas fees are and how they work and all that fun, wonderful stuff. But gas fees fundamentally are this. There are what are called Ethereum miners. Those miners process the transactions that happen on the Ethereum blockchain to make sure that the blockchain is immutable, unchangeable, and secure. Those folks get paid. Okay. You're going to have to pay the gas fee. Gas fees go up and down like mad. It is not going to be a huge amount of money. It could be, depending upon when it happens, it could be anywhere from the equivalent of $175 maybe to $210. And by the way, I'm purely making those numbers up because they range quite tremendously based upon demand on the network, based upon the complexity of the NFT, based upon a whole variety of things that I don't fully understand. Now, here's what happens. We give it to you. We help you get your wallet set up. We tell you all of these things work, all the rest of it. And then here's what you do. You sell that NFT with the smart contract connected to it. And it includes a JVology Live VIP ticket and a whole bunch of other bonuses. So please understand this. If it isn't already clear to you, this is a joint venture experience. This is a joint venture experience. And you're going to, number one, get one for free. You're going to get taught how to do it all. And you're going to sell it to somebody in your life, in your world. Now, I'm willing to bet that the first thing that comes to somebody's brain is, yeah, but whoever I sell it to has to know what an NFT is and how to do it, correct? Raise your hand. Yes, which is why anyone who's interested in buying one of these things, you can bring to the free Friday training. So we will train your friends as well. We will train your community as well so that people understand what the hell this is, because this is important. People need to know this. So what occurs is that you earn your Ethereum crypto instantly upon purchase and transfer. So we give you one, you pay gas. Let's imagine that you sell it to your friend Sally. Sally pays you. That money goes directly into your Ethereum account. Ta-da! And you have both been a buyer and a seller. And here's the cool thing about NFTs, because you can associate whatever smart contracts you want, is that all of the bonuses, including the VIP ticket and all those sorts of things, please hear this, all those bonuses occur and stay with whomever has owned the NFT. So they can move the NFT along. The person you sell it to could sell it to somebody else. Everybody gets to come to JVology Live. Everybody gets paid instantly. All of the benefits and the bonuses accrue to the person, any of the people who have bought it, and that is logged on the blockchain. It is immutable. So what happens is, and I'll say this again real clear, number one, you get the trainings. Number two, we set up the systems. Number three, we give you an NFT. Number four, you sell the NFT. Number five, then we help you craft your own NFT offerings. Now that you've seen it, you've felt it, you've experienced it, you've done it, as opposed to us talking all theoretical. And then once you craft your own NFTs, we will help you mint your own NFTs using that PowerFan platform, utilizing some of the PowerFan tokens. And you will be, please hear this, in my humble opinion, in the world of NFTs, you will be a part of the maybe 1.5 or 2% of the population that knows what the hell one is, ever owned one, and sold one, has built it into their business. And you will have a beautiful new way to joint venture in powerful and meaningful ways. Now, here's the other piece about this. I know I've spoken to many of you about having your courses on our JV Connect platform, because the back end is a learning management system. Please understand this. Our aim is that all of the courses on the back end of the platform will be wrapped in NFTs, meaning that that transaction will happen instantly, beautifully, and on the blockchain in simple, clean, easy ways. So we don't have to worry about coding an artificial intelligence process that goes to a link that's bad, that doesn't get tracked properly, that the tier 2 doesn't work. It'll all be embedded and handled in that beautiful, spectacular way. Sherelle, my dear. Oh, hello, hello. There you go.
I'm here. I think my question went out of my mind. It's very leaky there tonight. Okay, one of them is, as we get this, as we get our NFT and we sell it to someone and they can come in at whatever point in time and learn from the Friday sessions.
Yep.
Will we be able to also get them the videos for those sessions?
Of course. That
Okay.
it will become an entire training program that is accessible instantly and over time. So because what we want, there's a whole bunch of things that are as simple as can be. Get your MetaMask wallet set up is not something that we need somebody live and in person to hold your hand to, but the Fridays become the support pieces. Like I got in trouble because X didn't talk to Y, or I couldn't figure this out. We'll be there to help with those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one is, say, like next year sometime, I'm starting a mastermind, and I have people sign up through the NFT.
Correct.
And then I guess I could set it, because I have limited numbers for that class. So I could say either they can sell it or set it so they can't sell it.
Correct.
Or they could sell a waiting line ticket.
Or in a mastermind, it's very likely. And I'm just going to give you in my mind, you would only have 12 of them, or let's say if that was there's only 12. There's no resale. This is how this goes. This as a VIP ticket is sort of an open event. It doesn't have an application process, all the rest of it. So I would keep much tighter control in terms of mastermind process. But here's the thing that I want you to consider for a brief moment, that I swear to God, it may have just fallen out of my head too.
I said it's leaky.
There's so many things going on. Honest God, it fell out of my head. But here's the idea, is that they are not always resellable. You can set them at that process. So you just have it going to those pieces. Oh, and this is the other part about it. Yes, it came back. Have you ever been on a webinar or an educational process where it's like, for the first 7, they get it at X? And you know goddamn well that it wasn't 7, it was 27, and that they just plain old out and out lied. Raise your hand if you've ever been there. That should piss you off as much as it pisses me off.
Yes.
Okay, so imagine this in a world of transparent selling, is that you actually have pre-minted only 7 NFTs that have those traits and characteristics. And it's public knowledge on the blockchain. So when we say there's 7, there's only 7. And when those 7 are gone, now this is a different series with different traits and characteristics, with different abilities. It will make the selling process transparent and authentic, which I am incredibly excited about, by the way. Anyway, that was sort of related back to how we can set elements to this. That could be really interesting. That get you going there, my dear? And here's the short answer. For the more complex stuff, you just got to come to Friday.
I will. There's one thing that just popped up. When I did a blockchain conference, I met some people who had a thing called Block Party, and it was specifically for ticketing and sales of events and such.
There's good, honest to goodness, this is going to be a
Crazy
space
world.
that is going to get very busy very quickly.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Adriana, then Marilyn, and then I'll tell you what track 2 is.
Okay, Jay, let me see if I understand this. We'll get one NFT that has the JVology Live VIP ticket with it.
Yep.
We can then we then have our ticket, that's our ticket for it. And then when if we sell that NFT, the next person also gets the ticket. And then do we also, as it keeps selling, do you and then me and each one get a little piece of that?
Good question. So what transpires is this, is you can set those levels at it. And here's how it's set currently, is that the person who sells it gets 60%, which is what you would get. And we as JVology get 40%. Okay. Now, the next time it's sold, that person who sells it gets 60% and JVology gets 40%. It is possible for there to be what we would call trailing overrides and those sorts of things where each person gets a little piece, but that is not how this is set up. So each person who sells it gets 60%, JVology gets 40% for delivering the course.
Okay, because you had mentioned at one point that when we have an NFT and we sell it, each time that sells, we get a little piece of it.
Yes, as the creator. As the creator. In this case, I'm the creator, so I get a piece of it.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Marilyn, last one.
Okay, so you're going to give us one NFT that we can sell so we learn. What if I want to sell 20? Just a question.
It's a very interesting question. So here's one of the things that we're in the process of minting. Okay, so I'm going to go to my next slide to answer this question, Marilyn. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So here's track 1. NFTs Gone Wild is going to look like that thing I just showed you, which is the digital picture of me. Now, track 2, and by the way, and the whole aim to this is integrate this into your own business offerings. Now, track 2 is this. If you are not one of our flow, come on, my computer seems to be having there we go. Track 2 is if you are not one of our premium clients, there's still an option for you as well. And this is for JVology community members in general. They still get the trainings. Now, in this case, you are going to purchase one of 25 NFTs, and we're going to call these Series 2 NFTs. It'll have a different image to it and all those sorts of things, but you will purchase it for 0.05 ETH, which is at this moment in time about $203, something like that. So it's still, by the way, half price of an early bird JVology VIP ticket. Okay, so we are discounting this to incentivize you to learn how to do this because it's important for your business. Okay, so in this case, you're not one of our premium members, which, by the way, in my humble opinion, if you're not in Mastery or Flow or Sale and you've been thinking about it, this would be one of those times where you just do it because, again, for those of you who are in those communities, we just keep giving you more shit than you paid for. This, by the way, would be an example of that. This was not on the purchase list while we were doing it. We are doing it and we would always include you. So there will be a second series. You're going to pay half 0.05 ETH for it, plus the gas fees, whatever those happen to be, should still have you under the actual regular ticket price, the regular early bird ticket price. And there will only be 25 of those. Okay, only 25. They do the same thing. They sell it with a smart contract. They earn ETH instantly. They craft their NFT offers, mint their own NFTs, and integrate into their business offerings. So the difference here is only people who are premium clients already get the first one for free. The next folks, you're gonna have to pay. By the way, you should get comfortable paying with your wallet and with crypto and all those things to understand what all of those things look like, and that will be a possibility. So back to your question, at this moment in time, these are the 2 that we are publicly minting and making available. There is a third track that we're just in the process of working with Joshua Hayward, my business partner who helped actually create JVology, which is we are going to do specific joint venture partner NFT series. So instead of just, think of it in this way, instead of just hosting a masterclass or a webinar with your JV partner, you sit down with your JV partner and you say, okay, this is how this is going to go. You think you can put 50 people on the call. We're going to have 5 with special bonuses, and we're going to have another 5 that we're going to sell. And that's all it's going to be. And there will be a special NFT just for a JV partner. So if you wanted to have that discussion with us, we could have that discussion about, great, I'm going to do 10 of these and this is how this is going to go. So that will be a 3rd series, and that every single series will be unique to a JV partner. If you guys can just hang tough for a second, I got a dog going completely crazy out the door, and it's driving me a little bit on the nuts side.
You're muted.
So I wish I could move my camera, because the dog walks in with a glowing neon collar on. It looks like he's just been got back from a rave or something like that. And it's like, you doing okay down there? Like, who knows?
Jay, that answers my question, and that sounds right for me. So after I learn how to do this, I'd really like to set that up with you.
Yeah, awesome. And we will have that opportunity as we go through. At this stage of the game, we're fundamentally going to, and this is the thing that I need people to know. So if you're flow, mastery, or sale, you need to say to us you want to play. And because we're only going to mint the NFTs for those that want to play. There will be no extra. There will be, don't come in a week and say, I'd sure like to do that, because it'll be done. We're doing it all in one fell swoop. So you got to say you want to play. And then beyond that, there will only be these 25. That's how that's going to go for the first run. After the community is all comfortable with this, if you want to set up a JV deal to do a masterclass, a webinar, a training, any of those sorts of things, let us know. We'll create a custom and unique and very limited NFT just for a project with a great partner. Okay, all good? I'm going to hustle, gang. This is taking a little bit longer in terms of complexity than I had hoped. So the action map. So Brad, is there a form that they can fill out to just say, hey, they want to play with that Friday thing, or should I just ask them to put their email in the chat? What?
I have not set anything up, so send an email to somebody.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Krista, if you would please put your email address in the chat. So here's what's going to transpire. And we're going to get you a little form. We're going to send you a little form that is saying, yes, I want to be in on the Freedom Fridays. At the first Freedom Friday, we're going to start at the very basics, saying this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. This is where we're going to go. Now, I want to be clear about this, is that if you say you want to come and play at the Freedom Friday, it means that you are agreeing to buy an NFT gone wild. And I want to be clear, premium clients, you get the NFT for free. You still got to pay for the gas. Anybody else in the community, then you're going to have to pay for the NFT, which is 0.05 ETH, call it $200, and the gas. It'll still be less than an early bird VIP ticket. So we're trying to incent you in that manner. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to get thinking about who is an entrepreneur that should be at JVology Live, who is an entrepreneur that should learn how to utilize NFTs, who is an entrepreneur that needs to know about crypto. And the answer to that question is every single entrepreneur you know. Everyone needs to wrap their head and heart around this. Then you're going to book your next 3 Fridays at 11 a.m. And by the 4th Friday is JVology Live. That's why it says that. And by the way, at JVology Live, there's going to be more training because Jesse, the creator of the Power Fan platform, is going to be there teaching us how to mint our own NFTs at JVology Live. And then you're going to build and expand your JV network. And when you're there, you're going to build and expand your JV network and your NFT distribution channels. And here's the other piece to this. For those of you who have been talking to me about having your courses, your platforms, your information on your courses on our platform and your information, figuring this NFT stuff out is going to be a requirement, because that's how we're going to do all of the programs that are on the learning management system. It's going to simplify the 18 different affiliate tracking platforms in a beautiful and simplistic manner.
Yeah, hey, everybody, it's Krista. If you don't mind, just send me an email, krista@jv.com. The chat goes too fast, and I don't want to try to see if I got you or didn't get you from the chat. So just email me directly, then we'll have a better way to track. Thank you.
Krista, your voice just went a little bit fuzzy there for a second. Say your email address one more time.
Yeah, it's all in the chat 3 times.
Yes.
Yes, Bill, you hit it exactly. Selling is easy. Hey, do you want to learn more about crypto and how it will affect the entrepreneurs of the future? Then you should join for Freedom Fridays. Sold. And add to that and get your ass to JVology Live so that you can have a broader context and access to the community for the distribution of future NFTs and participation in the community. Because we want them not just to do this. I want to be very clear about this. This is a part of my strategy, by the way, for putting more new, interesting, fascinating JV partners in JVology Live to build the community. So yes, it is as simple as join the Freedom Fridays because that's free, but get your ass to JVology Live as well. All right, gang. We've been a little bit long. I'm happy to answer any questions about connecting any of these dots or how this might apply to your business. And I'm happy to hang out for a moment or two. Anything I can answer to connect any dots?
I have a question.
Yes, Lana. How are you, my dear?
My brain's going frack, dude. Okay, so I can buy one of these NFTs.
Yep.
I'm not in one of these programs right now.
Yep.
I can then turn around and learn.
Yep.
Which is a really smart thing. But I could also add a VIP ticket for my summit when I sell the NFT.
That's really, when you say the NFT, you're talking about our NFT, yes?
Yes.
So
yes.
You could bonus anything you want with it, but I want to be clear that that would not be included in the smart contract because the smart contract is defined when the NFT is minted. So you could do anything like that as a bonus. Say, hey, you can get to JVology Live and I'm going to give you a ticket to my summit, which would be totally fantastic. Whatever bonus you added would not be on the blockchain because it wasn't there at the minting time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but in that process, I can also then learn how to create maybe 5 NFTs for my.
Precisely, and that is the whole aim of this, is for you guys to, number one, engage, participate, learn how to do it so you can apply it to your own business and your own offerings.
Okay, thank you.
How does that bonus get added, Jay, that Lana just talked about?
She would just say, and you get this bonus. She could send an email, she could send a smoke signal, she could write a letter, she could do whatever she wanted, but it would not be on the smart, it would not be in the smart contract.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But it's a way to add some incentive to get that first one sold, that transaction process happening.
Yeah, you 100% could. Ivano, my friend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, this is mind-blowing stuff. So thank you so much for bringing that. One of the things that I can't quite wrap my head around is to say, so you give me a certificate, right? Do I need special software to cash it in, or if I sell that, who does it go to? Are we dealing now with being within a community that has to be interconnected, or can this go to other people that are not connected to the community?
It can go to other people not connected to the community. And in fact, we would love that because we'd like for them to come and check out JVology. But what they're going to need, and this is what we'll teach you on the Freedom Fridays, is that they're going to need fundamentally a MetaMask account. And a MetaMask account can hold and transfer NFTs, Ethereum in terms of cryptocurrency, which is its native currency, that just makes a whole bunch of things easy. And we'll help you set all that stuff up. It's not that complex. It's one of those things that once you've done it, it's like, well, obviously, and until you've done it, it's like, what the hell is that? So we'll just hold your hand and do that for you.
So that's in essence is special software that links everybody together. It's part of the chain. In essence, you have to connect to the blockchain.
Correct. And if you can't connect to the blockchain, you can't do these transactions. So MetaMask connects you to the blockchain, gives you an address to transfer Ethereum back and forth and to hold a bunch of these assets.
Okay. So a related question, I was just looking into unstoppable domains. You can have a crypto. If you have a crypto account, does that work as well or not?
I have not yet actually got my unstoppable domain, but it is on my list to test. And here's the thing, gang, I'll just be as clear as I can with you. There is so much to learn. It is moving so fast. I don't know a single person that is an expert in all of it. So part and parcel of this Freedom Friday is for us to say, hey, this is what I did. This is how it worked. This is what we liked. This wasn't great about it. All the rest of it. We'll just transparently do that. So that's actually on my list because I think that that's a really wise idea. Because if you see all of the, I see Bill laughing. Bill's business partner, Dustin, by a small error of a wallet address, lost $40,000. Sent it to the wrong spot that didn't exist, and the money went poof. So these things of the domain names that are simple and easy and readable, that mask is a really good idea, but I haven't used it yet.
Okay. So do you know, or does anybody know if, let's say, the crypto wallet like .coin or .crypto is connected or can connect to the MetaMask? Or is that, these are two different things?
These are Friday questions. And when you come there, we're going to step you through the entire process so that it makes sense.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I'm signing
You're
out.
welcome, brother. Okay.
Jay?
Adriana, yes.
I think my speaker is not clear, so I'll try to speak clearly. People are asking, if you have the intention of playing with us to buy the ticket, let us know, and we'll teach you how to do that on the first Friday. You don't have to pay first to then do it because you don't know how to yet. So we don't expect you to.
Yeah.
Just show up Friday.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing here, gang. I want to be clear with, there's nothing for me to sell you here. This is, if you want to play, come on Friday, you'll learn how to do it. When we go through that learning how to do it, we're going to say, okay, get the NFT, get it set up. Now you're ready to roll, go do your thing. There's nothing to register for. We don't want your money, any of those sorts of things. We want you to say, yes, this is important. Yes, I need to learn this. Yes, I'm willing to participate. Yes, I want to support the JVology process. Yes, then come on Friday and we'll hold your hand and you'll figure it out and we'll do it. And if it ain't for you at the end of that, then have a nice life. Carry on, do your thing, whatever. Make sense? Thank you, Krista, for clarifying. Adriana, you have the last word.
Okay, it sounds like we'll be getting recordings of the Friday meetings so we can go over them.
100%.
Because I know I'll be there Friday. The following Friday, I already have 2 full-day seminars that I'm booked that's already on that Friday.
So
But we'll
now it's
get
2.5. It's
so
all
we'll
good.
get
Yes.
a recording pretty quickly.
Well, is in fact very quickly, and we will. There will be a whole little separate section in Kajabi where we'll add additional pieces and components. Like for example, when I was I set up my first NFT, I recorded that. As I'm doing these things, I'm just going to record them and drop them in there for folks to be able to come and see and to play with and to have as resources so that you can explore these ideas. I also shot a whole bunch of video of setting up these helium miners. I'll end up dropping that stuff in there as well, just for people to have a broader context and a place to go to have discussions with people who are in the process of making it happen.
Okay, so if we know someone that might want to buy a ticket, we should invite them to come on Friday.
100%. And let them know, say, this is what I'm doing. I'm learning about NFTs. You're going to get a bunch of free training. You need to figure out how to do this in your business. And it includes a ticket to JVology Live, which you should come to. If you want to come play with that, come on Friday and check it out. And if you're in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. There's no obligation either way.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Denise asks, if I'm buying the 0.5 EFT, does that get transferred to you to buy the NFT? Yes, it does, Denise. And then when you were to sell that, what would happen is that 60% of the sale price would get transferred to you, 40% would get transferred to me. So think of it this way, like outside of all the training and support and trying to help you guys do this, this is just going to become, as we face forward, a year from now, you're going to be at the JVology Live website, and it's going to say early bird ticket, or it's going to say regular ticket, VIP ticket, crypto ticket, NFT. That's what basically all of our offerings are going to end up going that direction. Regular, VIP, NFT. That's how everything's going to transpire a year from now. And a year from now, most people are going to go, it's like, oh yeah, that's how it's going to go. Well, let me see, what have I got in my crypto wallet? Yeah, I'm going to pay with crypto. Poof, done. That is where we are heading. Is this coming Friday, the first training? Yes, it is. 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Kelly, yes, everyone's going to, that'll be the floor price is 0.05 Ethereum. Just make sure I haven't missed anything for questions, gang. And Kelly, it's interesting you say that. So when we sell it, do we sell it for 05 or can we change that price? So you can't go lower than that. If you want to go higher than that, given that there's only going to be 25 of them out and about, part of our purpose in choosing 25 is that there might be somebody who wants to pay a premium for it. We'll see. I mean, the people who are helping us with the minting process was like, well, because these are the first ones you've ever done and you guys have a bit of a community and you're going somewhere with this platform, these first NFTs could turn out to be really valuable in the long haul. And I kind of had a giggle. And then they showed me some examples of stuff that actually significantly increased in value, not because it was necessarily a big name and those sorts of things, just because it was the first and there was a very fixed number of them, which is kind of an interesting, funny thing to say. So it's entirely possible that you could bump that price if you so chose, but we're going to ask that you do not go lower than that price. That'll be the floor. All right, gang. Unless there's anything else urgent, I'm going to cut you loose. Please send an email to Krista saying if you want to play on Friday, if there's somebody whom you would like, who you think you would be selling your ETF to so that they could learn the process as well, you'd invite them to that Friday as well and let us know about that. And I think we are going to have one hell of an adventure. And if it isn't already clear to you, let me say this loud and clear. We are in the learning process. This is not well crafted and figured out and delivered 17 times. This is shit that has never really been done before in this domain and in this manner. We are blazing a new path. And we believe that that new path is going to be a really common path in 12 to 24 months. Those that get the cart in front of the horse in front of the cart are going to do real well. Those that are playing catch up are going to get run over by the cart. We'd love for you to come play and we hope that we can help.
Jay, one last thing. Sorry, I just one thing. If anybody here wants to invite 2 friends, like how do we invite the second friend? We only have 1 ticket. What do we do? Who do we contact?
Well, in that case, so that's an interesting question. So in that case, there could be this little sort of secondary economy. If you had 2 friends, is that the one you like most, you sell that person first, and the one you don't like quite as much, you say, and I'll sell you a ticket to the next person. Right? Like quite literally, you could just create an entire chain within your little community.
Sell the same ticket 30 times.
You could, yes.
Okay. All right.
All right, my friends. On that note,
That
yes.
confused me. Okay, if you sell the same ticket 30 times, you only get paid once, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But if you had your own series and you were the co-creator of it with me, then that would be a different thing. Make sense?
We're gonna do that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I have an 11-year-old who's about to hit the ice in 6 minutes. So I'm going to get out of Dodge here. And gang, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. And come play with us. We're going to figure this thing out together, and it's going to do well for all of us. And the worst case scenario is you're going to learn a bunch of shit you need to know. So we'll see you soon. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.